Hello, everyone. Are fats that you're consuming helping you or hurting you? Today, we're going to be talking about fats that heal and fats that kill. This subject is a really, really important subject. It's the cause of a lot of health issues that people are getting confused about. Most people have been told fats are bad. The truth is much more detailed, but it's something that we can all understand. So we're going to go through it today and kind of break it down for you. Some fats can help the body heal and restore, and some fats can inflame the body, cause aging, and damage in the body. So we're going to be getting into and uncovering the critical differences here and help you understand between the good and the bad fats and what you can do to kind of help your body be healthy and less pain, less disease. All that stuff starts to go away when your fats get balanced. So my name is Jason Steves. I'm a nutrition professional at the Nutrition and Health Center, and I'm joined with my co-host Steve Steves, who is the founder of Nutrition and Health Center, a certified clinical nutritionist and naturopath. And as I mentioned, today we're going to be diving into fats, helping you understand what good fats are, what bad fats are, and how you can test your body to help you understand what's going on and where your fats are as far as the balance of fats in your body as well. Steve, how are you doing today? Are you this is an important topic. You've been educating people about this for a long time. Um, Tell us a little, like a quick, blurb that you want to share as far as getting started with this topic, maybe what you want people to think about, prepare for when they're, getting ready to listen on this.
Well, you did a good intro, Jason. I think they're probably pretty fired up to listen about the differences of them. I really see this foundational link of fats and how our body processes them and how they're utilized for the various functions that they perform as a key element and a foundational pillar of health that's linked to probably 95% of all disease.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So for years, people have been told that in general, fat is bad. So why has fat gotten such a bad reputation? Why is this, and why is this so misleading?
Well, it's looking at the science. Science is so flawed, and science has been struggling to understand how fearfully and wonderfully made we are, and how fearfully and wonderfully made all of creation is. What are in plants? What are in animals? How that how that portrays onto our bodies. Why did they even name these fat molecules saturated fat, monounsaturated fat, trans fat, polyunsaturated fat, essential fatty acids, omega-3 fatty acids, omega-6 fatty acids, omega-9 fatty acids?
Hmm.
So much confusing information. And not Peter Adama. Well, there's books we can talk about that. But so
Yeah.
we want to clarify the important issues that the JAMA published so that you can really know what your risk factors are. Because I was in a risk factor of disease that was going to put me in a wheelchair. I didn't want to be in a wheelchair, but I also had all kinds of other health issues. And I don't have those issues anymore. And a big reason for that is my fatty acid intake and the digestion of my fats and the support of all that is kept in high priority in my life every single day. I do not miss essential fatty acids every day because they're essential. And I want them working for me and not against me, because in the world out there, the cheap oils that are causing destruction, like you said,
Hmm.
those are working against us. We need to have the weaponry revealed in this essential omega-3 test, index test, that you can have at your fingertips. But people have been kind of shying away from it for whatever reason. They're putting too much trust and hope in cholesterol testing and their blood thinners and their cholesterol medications. Those do not help an individual
Hmm.
find true health in their cardiovascular function and in their risk of stroke and heart attack. So, we're going to reveal a bundle of good information here that's going to
Yeah.
help set a lot of people free from their belief systems, that those lies that they believed in about cholesterol
Yeah.
and what that specifically does.
Yeah. So would you say then, like, it was when you were dealing with the health problems that you had when you were younger, when you were kind of trying to figure those things out, that's when you first realized that fats can either be healing or harmful? You were kind of learning that back when you were studying?
Well, one of the study books for our recertification exam and the clinical nutrition certification program was Fats That Heal, Fats That Kill by Udos Erasmus. And he is considered a world leading expert in the time of the 1990s, uh, giving us information on fats. Well, they're really coming to understand this in science. This is when the JAMA study was published that debunked the whole years of cholesterol and the overfocus on cholesterol being our problem. Cholesterol is not our problem. And if you could, Jason, go up into that Finder and click on that and then open up under Documents and
Okay.
Education. Um, what was
Yeah.
it we were just talking about? Not the JAMA study. Just lost that
You're
thought.
talking about Udos Erasmus, and his book, Fats That Heal, Fats That
Oh,
Kill.
type in hormone chart. There's a
Okay.
hormone chart in there.
Okay.
If you could show that to the folks. We're first going to debunk cholesterol.
Okay. Yeah, so that's one of the things that you're kind of bringing up that's a lot of
Yes.
people have been
Yeah.
misled about regarding fats is that, their cholesterol's a big problem, but that's kind of a symptom really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good word. It's a symptom. It's not the cause.
Okay.
The reason it's a symptom is if you see this chart up in the top left, you see cholesterol, and downstream from cholesterol, your body produces all these steroid hormones. Now, what's a steroid hormone? By definition, it's a hormone that builds up and allows for repair. Well, if you take something that's anti cholesterol, I say anti Christ because Christ made the body, he made it to produce cholesterol. If you don't eat any cholesterol, your body will make from the liver as much as 1,800 milligrams a day. We need cholesterol to produce these hormones. And if you're taking anti cholesterol medication, you are suppressing the very thing that the body is symptomology wise doing to help protect you. So, as we get into understanding the cell membranes where these hormones are being utilized, it is the omega 3 fats and the lack of them that causes our cells to become resistant. You've heard it. Insulin resistance has been known for quite a while now. And so, most of the public out there should be understanding what that is. It's hormone resistance. Here they are. Here's some of the hormones. There's more linked to cholesterol production that we need. The body's going to produce more insulin when the cells become resistant. And we need to improve the health of the cell membrane, its biochemical structure that makes the difference, and get away from the inflammatory fats. So you can, if you would now, Jason, switch from this to the picture of, well,
Well, before we go there, Steve,
okay.
let's kind of dive in just maybe one more comment. So Udo's Erasmus book was very kind of instrumental in helping people understand a bit more about fats. So obviously, we encourage you if you can get that book, read Udo's Erasmus book. It's very deep, it's very scientific. We're going to try to break it down for you. But what would you say practically, maybe you can summarize or practically provide, and you've kind of done that already, but in a succinct statement, what he's revealing in his book and then, what they can kind of take away. Just a kind of a quick, succinct statement of regarding his book and
All
what
right.
they
Well,
can take
let's,
away.
the easiest way to explain that with a picture is if you'll pull up that one chart of the essential fatty acid metabolic map. There you go. So when we do an omega 3 check, we are revealing to the people what Udos had revealed many years ago is how these omegas function in the body. Yes, we need omega 6 oils, but not in the content that Americans are consuming them. And so consequently, when you do an omega-3 check, you measure the omega-6, you measure the omega-3. Now, there's in between metabolites. We'll talk about also what those are measured by in this test as well. But the measurement of 6-to-3 ratio, the average American's coming in at a 15-to-1 number because they're not getting enough omega 3s and they're getting way too many omega 6s. And they're driving this inflammatory pathway. And so 92% of all doctor visits are related to pain and inflammation, which is a source of pain. And you see those pro inflammatory prostaglandins at the bottom of the omega 6 pathway. That's why they're drawn in red. And this was what Dr. Erasmus was pointing out is these, black currency, evening primrose oil, borage, these have healthy gamma linoleic acid, which will drive healthy prostaglandin series 1 anti-inflammatory hormones. But there's oftentimes so much inflammation and poor source quality of omega 6s that it's pushing that omega 6 down to arachidonic acid and then driving too much inflammation. And I knew it well. I knew it in my muscles, I knew it in my joints. It was a big issue with inflammation with me. And now with my regular intake of fatty acids, and we've seen it in so many others, pain levels just going away naturally the way they're supposed to because the ratio is balanced. And this is every cell in your body, folks. This is why we want to look at the structure of the cell and that bilipid membrane. You learned about it in biology or physiology, whatever you took in high school. Remember that bilipid membrane? That's every membrane of every cell in your body, trillions of cells and millions of bilipid molecules in each individual cell. So if you don't get your fatty acids, your cell structures break down. You can see it in various, just looking under live blood and examination under a microscope. You can see what's called lipid peroxidation. That's linked to dementia. It's linked to Alzheimer's. So many diseases are linked to this excess omega-6 pathway, elevated inflammation, elevated levels of arachidonic acid, and we measure those with the omega check test. Now, on the flip side of that, if we can cool things down, we also measure in the omega check your level of omega 3, your EPA and DHA level. And as you look down to that big orange highlighted area at the center, at the bottom, it says EPA appropriately blocks omega 6 delta 5 desaturase downstream conversion to arachidonic acid. So you can stop this enzyme from converting and making too much acid when you have high concentrations of quality fish oil. Most fish oils are going to taste rancid, put them in your mouth. You can do the taste test. You can taste our pure omega 3. It is the only fish oil that I will consume because of the purity, because of the quality and the anti-inflammatory effects that I get as being so inflamed. I was 25 years old. Now I'm 66 years old, 41 years later. Just got done with my leg workout, played some golf yesterday, Jason, with a guy from church and shot amazing. And I attribute a lot of my good golf game to you, actually, because of what you taught me about physical movement and being able to go out there and shoot like I did without practicing and only playing 3 times all year. So the physical fitness, the muscle memory, all of that, that's another reward with those that take essential fatty acids. I attribute to it so much. And then feeling great today so I can jump back in the gym after 4 hours of golf and not feel inflamed. And I'm fired up, ready to go for another day, another workout, and get out there and play with the grandkids tomorrow. Anyway, I'm getting a little excited here talking
Yeah.
about that.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that, Steve. I think this is really great information for people to know, and I want to try to break it down a little more simply for them.
Okay.
So, you know, the right fats obviously are essential for healing and, long-term health. Um, you know, there's a phrase some people we might be able to use, you could say like fats can make or break the cell. Uh,
Yeah, they're
like
good.
tell us a little bit about how that works on the cell. Like why are the fats necessary for healthy cells?
If you'll go to the documents, client education, scroll down to the SLIC on blood sugar, the one
Okay.
that's on, and just pull that up for them. It shows a cell membrane structure.
Okay.
This is quite remarkable. So the scientists have been able to, and this has all been since 1996 when the omega-3 index study was revealed as the number one cause of heart attack and stroke was the amount of omega-3s in the bloodstream determined that risk factor. So if you can zoom in a little bit on the membrane where it shows EPA and DHA there in the yellow, I just kind of, oh yeah, scroll in on that, keep coming. There it is. Whoop. Yeah, so you see EPA and DHA, the tiny little bubbles that cover the entire cell surface, that bilipid membrane, you see two of them. They're rich in EPA, DHA. This is what we test in that omega check. We know if your bloodstream is carrying a concentration high enough to keep inflammation down, to keep fueling your cell membranes and restoring their structure. We're talking about skin cells, ladies. If you don't want your cells to degenerate and look old and wrinkly before your time, you need to know your omega 3 levels. Don't just say, well, I think I need a capsule a day or two. Most people are way undernourished. I see it time and time again when we run all these functional nutritional assays on individuals, whether it's the omega check, whether it's the micronutrient test, or whether we're doing neurotransmitter testing or just our blood chemistry testing. People are undernourished tremendously, and then they get scared about taking too much of a vitamin D or and yet there are no harmful studies out there. Now on synthetic vitamins, there may be one or two harmful studies out there for sure. We can debunk and talk about that all day long, and this is a big area. Taking poor quality fish oils will damage cell membranes and cause you further inflammation. You're going to feel miserable and you'll have digestive upset. It's not worth it. Get quality, get what Prosper Nutrition offers. And I think we should offer at least a discount today for this presentation on our pure omega 3, Jason. And then I know you had talked about the opportunity for that omega check, maybe offering some kind of a discount for that as well. I knew you had something in mind.
Yeah, well, we are going to be putting more information out over the next couple weeks about this. We'll be sharing a lot of this over our emails and social media to get people well informed. But yeah, we're going to be doing a test blood draw actually in the office. Let's see, it's a week from Tuesday. So not this Tuesday, but the following Tuesday.
The 11th, yeah.
We're having a
Yep.
blood draw in the office. So if you want to get your omega levels checked, we have some openings. So definitely call our office to get that scheduled. It's 281-440-0024. And our ladies will help you get set up. Now, you've been talking a little bit about this, but practically, nutrition and lifestyle. What are, if someone wants to start, getting their fats in a healthy way, healthy fats up, what, not just getting enough in their diet, but also just getting their cells to have the healthy fats there too. What are the things? So like diet, all the stuff, supplements, lifestyle factors. What are all the things that you would say? These are the things that you need to be doing to help get your cells healthy as far as the good fats
You
there.
know, that's good. We need to talk about the basics here, folks. Staying away from fried foods, staying away from foods that have any hydrogenated oils in them, any processed oils, anything that is processed that has an oil in it. Let's say you're buying some kind of sunflower seed or maybe pumpkin seeds, and they've got an oil in there. There are better quality seed companies that you can get sprouted seeds that do not have oils added for cooking and for roasting because it hydrogenates the oil. Those omega oils are very sensitive to heat. And so anything that's a processed oil in a package, you can probably be assured that it's going to cause inflammation and damage to your tissue cells. So it has to start there where you say no to the food that is sold in our industry and in this country that's illegal in other countries, and then begin your process of reestablishing good fat sources like raw nuts and seeds or sprouted nuts and seeds to get those good oils into the diet. And they're all in nuts and seeds, folks. And there's lots of good choices that are out there. I put chia seeds in my smoothie every morning and whip them up in that vigorous Vitamixer. And it really helps scrub the colon, but also get some release of essential fatty acids from that. But it's hard to process downstream plant forms of omegas into the EPA form. The science is showing that only we have the efficiency of about 10% of that gets converted. And so years ago, before we really understood this, when I started off in clinical work, it was 1992, part-time around 1990, but we didn't fully understand fatty acids at that time. And so it wasn't until 1996 that the JAMA study was released on omegas and they're reversing cardiac arrest. So now we understand fully how they function in the body and we can do amazing things. And they even told doctors, the American Heart Association said, hey, this is a cause of cardiac arrest. Tell your patients they need to be on fish oil. No, they get better kickbacks when they use blood thinners. Oh, don't be on that fish oil because I'm recommending you this blood thinner. Blood thinners have so many toxic side effects. It would only be foolish for a man to consume something that's synthetic made by man to manipulate and alter chemistry and has all crazy side effects when they could trust God. That's it. That's what it's all about. Do we trust our creator for what he's made for us? It's man that manipulates and the enemy tries to use man to steal, kill, and destroy. So can you pull up that primary risk of cardiac arrest JAMA study, omega-3 index study? And it shows what percentage you need for your test to get it up to 10.9% to have a 90% reduced risk of cardiac arrest, which is stroke and heart attack. Now, where are my levels? The last I tested, I was around 12%. My sweetheart, Amy, keeps a close tab on her. She's at 14% retested this year. And we've upped our omegas even since because we're going for the Dr. Jaffe amounts. Dr. Jaffe is taking 9 fish oil a day. So I increased that because I'm taller than he is and I have more cells that need fatty acids. So I'm taking 9 now. So I'm probably at 14+% on omega-3s. I don't want to compromise in that area because your level of intelligence and brain function depends on the DHA that's in the fish oil. The EPA is the inflammatory controller. Yeah, it's great in cell structure, but the DHA also is involved in brain function. So, folks, this is not something to take lightly. You need to get omega-3 check done. Find out where you're at. Don't dabble with poor quality fish oil and find the best source you can, which we know Prosper Nutrition works for us. We're not just telling you this stuff to sell you. We are selling the life we live, and you can come live it with us. We'd love to have you be a part of the family. We're excited for what is happening in the future. Come and join us and look up, have your blood drawn and get that omega-3 check done.
Yeah. Well, Steve, if someone is, having some health issues related to imbalanced fats and they check their numbers and, it's off, how quickly have you noticed people are able to get those numbers bouncing back, getting them healthy? How long does it take?
That's a good question. Everybody wants to know time. How long does it take? How much do I need to take? It depends on the level of inflammation that they're at and how saturated their liver is and their gallbladder with toxic levels of trans fats and lipid peroxides. And so clearing all of that out takes time. The older you are, the longer it takes, but the body is willing to wait. If you're willing to wait, the body knows what healing is because it was created in God's image. Jehovah Rapha said, I am the Lord who heals you, and him and no other can heal you. And he's designed you to be in health, 3 John 2. So healing will come if you just wait on it. I would say, it depends how I've seen some old folks lose 21 pounds of fat. Well, someone around 40 years of age, that's older than the 20s, obviously, in teen, lose 21 pounds of body fat measured on an in-body exam in 21 days. I've never seen it before, never seen it since. How do you explain it? Because it's outside the scientific norm. She trusted God, this woman that came in. I videoed her on the first appointment because I knew her faith was so strong that she was going to walk in this newness of life and she was going to get radical results. I just knew it. And then I videoed it again 3 weeks later after losing 21 pounds of fat, and her cells were transformed. She took it hook, line, and sinker and ran with it and was set free. And people can get that, but they hold on because fear manipulates, fear controls, and fear keeps you from your destiny of walking by faith and not by sight and trusting God. He'll reward those
Yeah,
who walk by faith
it's
because
good.
he says, I'm a rewarder of those who will seek me. You've not been seeking him about how you care for your body. And this is one simple way. You can watch videos. Be careful who you watch out there. If they're just selling something and they're not living that something, I really encourage you to. There's a lot of voices in this world, and you got to know which ones to listen to.
Right, right. So, for someone who has not ever done an Omega check, you know, that's something that, you can take this first step by signing up here at our office. And we have a program that we actually, Steve has compiled a lot of the information as far as understanding what the marker means and what your lifestyle factors you can adjust for the depending on where your number is, if your number is low. And so that's called our blood wellness report. Plug the numbers in. It's great to have as a resource. So you'll be able to get that, and then we'll be able to have an appointment with you so that we can kind of talk with you, just make sure we kind of discuss things and develop the plan with you at the Nutrition Health Center to make sure that you're following down the right track as far as the lifestyle stuff. Now, Steve, we're kind of coming to a close here with this meeting. What would you say is, one more piece of advice that you would, give everybody about fats and, something that they could take to heart and really try to make a difference in their own health and in, maybe the health of their family and loved ones?
Well, along the lines of what I said earlier, just stay away from any packages that have oils in them.
Mhm.
And then if you're going to a restaurant and you don't know what kind of oil they're cooking in, it's going to be a cheap oil. Unless you pay good money to go to good quality restaurant. Folks, I don't want to compromise and deal with the consequences of compromising of what happens to my body. I did that for years. I was the chief of sinners when it came to regarding honoring God with my body. I wasn't doing it. It isn't my body, it was his, and I didn't know that. So I thought I would treat it however my fleshly desires wanted, and I had to learn how to discipline that. And the reward is so great. But watch out. There are wolves out there
Yeah.
in sheep's clothing recommending you to eat this or that, and it's not building you up, but it's tearing you down.
Yeah. Yeah, folks, definitely make sure that you get your omegas checked if you're having concerns in regard to heart disease or even diabetes, any sort of disease that is related to pain and inflammation of any kind. You want to take a look at your omegas as we've heard from Steve here. And you can do that very easily here at our office, Nutrition and Health Center. We do blood draws once a month. pretty affordable too, the way we do it. And then we put together a plan for you based on what's going on with your numbers. So it's pretty straightforward. It is a road less traveled, right? We've been saying that. You know, you've walked the road less traveled. We've been walking on the road less traveled where people, I think a lot of us understand that we need to change our lifestyle, but it's a common human problem that we all have. It's difficult. It's not easy. And that's part of what we want to do for you in you coming to see us. We want to be a support system for you. We want to be an encouragement for you as you're making these changes because it's not easy. It's really difficult. There's a lot of conflicting information, confusing information, but also there's not a lot of support in making healthy changes. There's a lot of, quick outs, a lot of these little things. Oh, just do this to get rid of the pain, do this to alter your, blood lipids and all that. But what really makes a difference is changing your lifestyle, changing your diet day to day, taking good supplements, exercising, good sleep, managing your stress, all these things that we teach and develop a plan specifically for you. So contact our office to set up a time to get your blood drawn for the Omega Check test and schedule a follow-up with us so that we can build your plan, your personalized nutrition and lifestyle plan, so that you can prosper and be in health. Thank y'all so much for watching. Steve, thank you for your input and your insights. Look forward to talking again with you and everybody listening next time. We will dive into another health topic that is important and will help you to have the wisdom that you need and the guidance to take care of this body that God's given you. So thank you all again. We'll see you next time. Take care now.